Yeah, safety crap. Let's get through all this shit. Alright, here we go. More setup. Alright, wire the first camera outside and we'll set it in place. Alright, get this daggone thing set just right. Camera number 1. Yeah. Alright. Woo! Man, it's been a tough hunting season. Last couple days I've put in easily 50 miles in about, I don't know how many hours on foot. My tactics change during the hunt. So for example, if you're hunting in the rut, the bucks and the bull elk, they got one thing on their mind, and that's breeding, getting some. Unfortunately, this is season 3 and we're in post-rut. So what that means is the males, as far as elk population are concerned, have separated from the cows, and they like to become recluse and hide out in some of the deepest, nastiest stuff there is. So they're no longer following the female herds, and what you have to do is your daily battle rhythm should be as follows. First, be up and in position, not 30 minutes before sunrise, but an hour before sunrise. Legally, you're allowed to start hunting 30 minutes before sunrise. Doesn't mean the animals aren't there. So be in position, because if you're wearing hunter's orange and you have the silhouette of a human, you're going to stick out. So make sure you're in position, and the animals at night and in the evenings will come down through the draws, low ground areas that are going to protect them from wind and weather, also obscure view from potential predators like me. And they come down in the early mornings, and they'll come back down in evenings, and they'll feed. Usually they'll come down into the aspen trees, and then they'll take a look around. And I mean, they'll look around for like 15, 20, 30 minutes before they'll venture out into the sage fields. Once that shit's done, then they go back, usually before sunrise. So they'll go back up into the deepest, nastiest stuff they can find that has got great cover and concealment. Lots of, I mean, if you're looking in the open plains for elk, you're wasting your time. You need to find the shadows in the trees, and you really need to glass hard with your binos or your scope in those dark areas, because that's where they're going to hide out at. And they stay there all day. So during the day, what you want is you want to establish preferably a 2-person team. One is going to sit and the other one's going to push. Whether you're pushing them uphill or downhill depends on the terrain and, you know, what other agendas you guys have going on. So anyways, that's your during the day. In the evening, I like to have a secondary overwatch position. So thinking the first one was burnt for the day, I moved to the secondary one in the evening, once again well ahead of time, and in an area that typically overlooks a valley or something like that, where, you know, I'm looking at about a 200-meter shot and I can see much more. Because during the day, when you're out and you're stalking, your field of view is significantly limited, and they're going to smell you and hear you and see you way before you ever do. That's elk. Deers, these guys, they go into rut later. So we're getting ready to come into the deer rut season, and unfortunately, this is the last rifle season for Colorado over the counter, unless you've got Ranch for Wildlife or some guide service or some private ranchers authorization to hunt after a third season rifle for bucks. But this is the season where they're going to start going into their rut, so they'll be a little more inclined. If you see an elk, forget seeing buck, because those bulls, they'll push a buck out faster than you can spit, and I'm saying they're real territorial fuckers. They're huge. So the bucks are like, yeah, I think I'll live to fight another day, and they skedaddle. So doesn't mean we've given up. We'll go for season 4 over the counter tags and continue on the next season. As of right now, what we're getting ready to do is we're gonna go ahead and paint up our Benelli M2 shotgun. And the reason we got a Benelli M2 is, one, it's a world-class shotgun. It's a semi-automatic. I've got several terrain tactical modifications I've done to it. There's a few more I'll do later on. Extended choke magazine tube, and I got to drill and tap my bolt carrier release assembly oversized pad, and then lastly I'll put a match saver in there. The reason I like that gun is because you can use it for 3-gun. It's great for 3-gun. It's also great for duck hunting, and that's what I'm getting ready to do next in a week or so. Is we're gonna go duck hunting, and ducks, you know, they're gonna see your rifle, so you got to paint it. Black is the most unnatural color there is out there to wildlife, and when you're hunting and you're tracking, you don't think just about yourself, but your shadow, because your shadow is black, and they're going to see that a mile away. So something to think about is when you're moving through a wooded area, tree, the sun's rising or setting, stick to those areas that minimize your shadow, because the shadow will stick out better than you. Shadow is what I look for as well, shadow movement. So if I'm looking for it, you can damn sure bet the big game's looking for it as well. Ducks are no different. Ducks got keen vision, and so that's why you see a lot of people in duck blinds and camied up and all their guns, and everything that's black needs to get painted prior to duck hunting. So we're gonna paint the Benelli, and the way I paint my guns, I guess I'll fucking show that shit in another video. So cheers.